for this month's 5 Minutes of Good, I get to sit down and spend 5 minutes with Drew Dennis of Out in Schools. Out in Schools is an offshoot of Queer on Film.
That's right, the Queer Film Festival, and the organization is Out on Screen.
Out on Screen, there we go. And so the primary goal of Out in Schools is to raise awareness and create dialogue for students and teenagers to learn how to handle one another in, I guess, uncharted waters for themselves. That's
right, yeah, it's an offshoot of our film festival, and it's a program where we bring films into high schools, so we do this across the province of BC. We bring films into high schools, so we're grade 8 through grade 12. Often we're coming into planning 9 or planning 10 classrooms. We show a few films, short films that are made. Often these films that are made by students, so it's kind of a peer-to-peer messaging. And it's an opportunity for students to have a conversation about bullying, to have a conversation about homophobia. And what we find is often the themes in the films talk about other types of differences.
I was going to ask, so the subject matter of the films, are they often one of the characters is gay, or both the characters might be, or there might be a transgender character or queer? Or...
Exactly,
right.
Yeah, exactly. We sort of arrange, and again, we really try to make sure that we're bringing films into high schools that also reflect the demographics and the student population.
Right.
So there's a lot of different cultural diversity as well reflected within the films.
And there's other programs in Canada that you were saying that do focus on creating awareness.
That's right. There are other programs where people are coming in and sharing their own personal stories about being gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgendered. I think the difference with Out in Schools is we use the films as the tool. And let's face it, kids nowadays are very media savvy, so it gives them, it's kind of a nice, easy way, a nice icebreaker. And then we, as you said, we pull then, we talk about, we start the conversation talking about the character from the film or what happens, and then kind of bring that out into what's happening amongst your friends, what's happening in your school.
Right.
And the number one feedback that we get from students is kind of this sigh of relief and, oh, thank goodness, we finally get an opportunity to talk about this in an open, healthy, mature way.
Because I think that my locker partner is gay, but I didn't want to know that I knew, and I don't have a problem with it, but how do I say, hey, so I don't have a problem if you're gay,
Exactly, and in some ways it's giving students the tools, but it's also giving them the role models. A trend, which, trends come and go, so hopefully this one's here to stay, but a trend that's becoming quite popular right now amongst teenagers is this idea to stand up and be an ally.
Right.
And it could be an ally. Again, the difference is we're focusing a lot around LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered issues, but of course within our conversation we start talking about all the ways that people are different, that people get, isolated or picked on.
Right.
Yeah.
And so obviously a lot of what you do is creating an awareness to put a damper on bullying and people feeling, what do you think people are driven to bully others? Like why, what is it, do you think? And I know I didn't ask you this ahead of time.
Well, it's such a big question. And I think there's a couple things that are going on, particularly within that age group. So one, anytime that something's different or something that we don't know much about, or maybe we've only heard things at home or through the media that's been less than positive, we take those with us. This is also an age group where peers are the most important. Kids are rolling their eyes at their parents. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. And we see that, and our facilitators are really well trained, so they'll see that happen. They'll see, the kid in the back who's kind of like watching to see how other kids are responding before they're comfortable to speak up, or maybe.
And usually the loud people are the ones who are kind of not thinking before they speak.
Yeah, and a lot of our format is not about lecturing and talking at, but really encouraging. So if there's that challenging question that comes up from the classroom, often we sort of throw it back at the students and say, hey, well, what do you think? And give them the opportunity to really have the conversation.
And step up and empower each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
That's great. I know that I've already spent a good, 25 minutes chatting with Drew here about, I mean, just all the things that Out in Schools does to raise awareness and create an environment of communication and, helping ease the struggles of homophobia. Maybe you're afraid and you shouldn't be, because we're all just people with different sexual expressions and different, the way we recognize and see each other is so different. Now, is there, so people can learn more about Out in Schools?
Yeah, people can learn more. You can go to our website, outinschools.com, and there's different things that you could do. If perhaps you're a parent or other folks that are in a high school right now and facing having challenges within their high school, it's an invitational program. So the way that we come into schools is usually it's a teacher that's championing, inviting us in, or it's a Gay Straight Student Alliance, or it's a parent who says, hey, I think this would be really good for our school.
And there's 60 school districts in BC.
60 school districts in BC. So we're a fairly small group. We have a team now of about 9 facilitators, and this is one of them. Jen Sung is our program coordinator. She's fantastic, and she was profiled on the cover of the Georgia Straight.
Very cool.
Last year. So we have a team of about 9 facilitators right now that are going in, but really our biggest challenge is having the capacity and a large enough team to be hitting every high school. So we've reached 30 out of 60 school districts, which is leaving a lot of the province yet uncovered. And more, we're trying to place our emphasis on reaching those high schools in smaller towns and rural communities, because we know those are the kids that maybe don't have the same access to information and resources that their urban counterparts would. So.
And then, of course, people keep asking you guys to take over the entire country.
Yeah, so. We're like, wait, let's just... too soon.
There's nine
too soon. So, yeah, we are, we try to be realistic and strategic in terms of what we can accomplish. And I guess to give a sense of size and scope, we've hit 30 of the school districts so far. Last year, during the school year, our team did 100 presentations. So we delivered 100 presentations over the course of 8-9 months.
Not hopefully, but I know that you're helping a lot of kids out there that are confused and trying to just fit in just being human.
Absolutely. If people are into, I love statistics sometimes. So there's 3 things that for me are just surprising and really concerning, that this is still part of our reality today, because like it or not, we have different types of families, there's different sexualities and different gender expressions, and nothing's going to change that's the reality. So we either give kids the tools to navigate and figure those things out in a healthy way. Otherwise, what we do know is that LGBT youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than their straight peers. We know that the dropout rate, issues with addiction are higher amongst those students. We also know that and this is from a recent study, 70% of students in Canada, of high school students in Canada, said they hear homophobic language every day at school.
Wow.
70%. So, as benign as that so gay might be, or I still believe that probably the worst thing that you can call somebody else is a fag, if you think about locker room banter. So and these things that are real issues. It reminds
me of high school, actually, and I think that I was definitely came from a place of ignorance in Alberta, and
Alberta,
yeah, and so that says a lot right there. But I just think that these conversations and this kind of knowledge and teaching kids how to navigate, even just having a gay friend or questioning their own sexuality, straight and gay kids, giving them the opportunity to know how to talk about these things and respect one another. We all know I'm all about empowerment. So
right. And again, it's also giving the other kids, as you said, if your friend's coming out, they're smart. We know these things. So what are you going to do? Are you going to drop this friend, or how can you support and be a cool ally to other kids that might be struggling with these issues?
We are already at 9 minutes of good, so do what you can. If you know someone in your neighborhood who's struggling and you sense that that's what they're struggling with, just be a friend, right? Just be a friend. Yeah,
absolutely.
Check it out in schools. Thank you so much, Drew.
Thank you, Jody.
I look forward to coming to another function soon and listening to your wisdom. All right. Thanks,
Take care.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.